You know, here in Tennessee, we have a lot of livestock farmers, and a group within the industry there for support is called the Farm Animal Care Coalition of Tennessee, or FACCT. And for the past several years, they've been holding a training session for law enforcement officials and district attorneys' offices to better understand livestock management practices when those might come into question.
We're evaluating this tooth right here.
Today we're having our Farm Animal Care Coalition of Tennessee Livestock 911 training, and this is where that we invite our sheriffs and our district attorneys and our animal control who work out in the individual counties across the state of Tennessee to come out and learn more about livestock welfare in our state, how to prosecute those, and also just to learn more about our livestock industry in Tennessee.
They're invaluable, and of course, you know, they're a resource that I don't know how we would do what we do without. Let's put it that way. Not only, and just like today with the educational portion of learning things, I learned something today that I didn't know myself, and I've been in this job for 39 years. But it's the educational opportunities we get as well.
So the more time that we can spend hands-on, the more time that we can spend to train the people that are actually going out to investigate these issues is critically important to the overall success and of the industry and also the welfare of the animal.
I think one of the most beneficial things for me as a prosecutor, when you have the agricultural department coming in and they're doing an investigation, they're using terminology like body composition scores. They may even say an acronym, BCS. And as a prosecutor, you're trying to figure out, well, okay, what does that mean? And then if they say an animal, I went out and inspected a herd of cattle, and the average score is a 1.5 or a 2. I have no idea what that means, right? So you come to these training events held annually or biannually, whenever they're held, and you learn about the hands-on.
We obviously deal with a lot of complaints sometimes, and it's people that may complain that doesn't understand how farming is carried out, or that, for an example, a horse is 40 years old and they're becoming to the end of their life and they're being fed well and taken care of. It's just the fact that they're deteriorating, basically. So we deal with a lot of those complaints, but actual solid up, straight up cases, there's not that many.
Sometimes the outward appearance doesn't tell the entire story. And so even though we can use different ways to assess a situation, that animal may be really well cared for and be managed in the best way possible by the owner and a veterinarian and others that may be helping. And so it's important to take all of that into consideration and remember that just because that animal may appear thin doesn't always mean they're neglected.
I think it's even important that to go out into the arena where they're at now, and actually as a prosecutor, even put your hands on the animal, see exactly what it is, because it helps me in the court, should this go to a hearing, be able to ask the appropriate questions of the agriculture department agents to elicit that information to help educate both the judge and the jury as to what exactly we are seeing.
Farmers and law enforcement really need to be working together specifically for animal rights activism, and it's really important that farmers are having proactive conversations with law enforcement, because it's when something happens, you want to be prepared, you want to have a plan in place so that you can take action immediately and really address that.
Not everyone comes from an agriculture background, and so it's important that they know what they're looking at and what they're looking for. What's the difference between a beef cow and a dairy cow, and what do these animals look like, and what's normal for them? And so we want to make sure that everyone involved in prosecuting these livestock welfare cases are educated on the livestock animals that they're looking at.
Now, the Farm Animal Care Coalition of Tennessee has been an invaluable resource to law enforcement, especially when alleged animal neglect or abuse questions are investigated.